Some of y'all ain't know Carmelo Anthony was guilty. Some of y'all ain't know OJ was guilty. It is what it is, man.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
But justice shall be served in the name of the Lord. So at this point, I felt like the officer should allow to get right to homie body.
Because they've been given great light, truth, and knowledge.
Right to him.
They've perverted the right ways of the Lord. And they're filled with great idolatry and wickedness. And those who have greater truth have greater evil. There's greater goodness with greater truth possible. But there's also greater evil. Because when you have greater truth, you can put on all the appearances of righteousness and pervert the right ways of the Lord. And this is what this country's done. Because they've had great blessings, great light, truth, and knowledge. Even coming down from God through, a divine constitution and Christians coming here for religious freedom. And
well, let's get back to Elizabeth Smart.
Yeah, because this sounds more like a political debate.
Yo, let's get back to this. Hold on.
There's nothing unpolitical.
Well, let me just put this right on the table.
There's nothing unpolitical.
So far, I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe it's because I grew up outside of Utah and I'm not familiar with all this, religious stuff. But you need to bring it down to a level so that I can understand it. Because this stuff you're talking about, and how it relates to Elizabeth and how she ended up being taken from her home. And let me just say this: for the past 9 months, that family has gone through hell.
So I needed that officer to do that, right? Because even the other officer, I think he's a Mormon. He a part of LDS, right? And I'm like, yo. He talking to him about Joseph Smith. He talking to him about it. And I'm like, hold on, bro. Either, because I think if you religious, then hey man, how you gonna deny what God told somebody? If you religious, bro, you believe in anything around the Bible. If you are the LDS church, you believe that Joseph Smith got them commands from where? He knew where to go find them books. He was from New York too, so I found out he's from New York, so y'all can listen to me. I would know more than the rest of y'all, especially y'all in Utah. I don't care. A lot of y'all knew. Y'all was born in Utah. Y'all wasn't born in New York, so the vibe, I guess, I don't know, maybe something like that. I'm trying to tell y'all some real shit, man. Pay attention. But
I understand.
You do understand that?
I understand that very much.
I mean, their whole family has been torn apart, and I can tell you that since the day that she's been taken, both Cord, myself, and hundreds of other law enforcement officers have been spending countless hours upon hours trying to find this girl. And the family, I mean, they wake up during the middle of the night and their kid is gone, and they have no idea where she went. They think she's dead. We expected to find a corpse.
Let me say this, right? My own personal opinion. If you religious and you agree, put it in the chat. You put it in the chat on TikTok or Twitch. If you don't agree, put it in the chat. We can get to it. We can argue about it. If there's a God and he sees all humans as his children and he loves us, I don't think God will come to anyone and ask them to inflict pain on anybody that's innocent. I don't think God will maneuver karma in that way. Where even if you had did something that was wrong, he would have it come to your kids. I don't think God would allow for us to create nuclear weapons. And if you're going to say everything is a part of God's plan, then he's telling you that God came to him and told him this was the plan. How old the girl was, that the girl was his by rights, and that he could marry her and change her name and do whatever he desired. And this wouldn't even be out the realm or out the range of the stories of the Bible. this would fit right in that direction. Women belong to men, and the ages get younger and younger and younger if you in the Bible, right? You obey me, I do as I please. And it's a lot of heinous and... But me personally, I don't think no God would equip human beings with such a high level of consciousness and ability to have a high level of intellect. And then go to somebody else and have that person trample upon it. Have that person steal your empathy. Make you suffer and torture you so much that now you run around with Stockholm Syndrome. I just can't see the Lord doing that. This don't make no sense to me.
And so your explanation so far as far as God delivering her to you makes no sense to me because it doesn't match up with the facts.
How was when the children of Israel were led into the promised land?
Let's keep it out of the Bible. Let's keep it to present time.
There's no other way I can explain it. Sorry.
All right. Well, if you don't mind me if when you start to explain it, it makes no sense to me if I just cut into it.
Okay. Well, let me say, you just shared with me how her family suffered, right? But when God's children become idolatrous and wicked, they've suffered many things. The whole history of mankind, the scriptures is.
So you hear him? He talking about the scriptures. The whole history of mankind been suffering, the scriptures. You go through history, it look like suffering, right? So his justification, you telling me about how her family suffered because God told me she was mine. And I broke into her house at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And abducted her at knife point. And took her way up to the woods and chained her up the trees and married her and did all type of wild stuff. How you gonna tell me about how her family was waking up and suffering, and God has children suffering? If you religious and you believe in the scriptures, then what did he say wrong? What did he say? Did he not justify it? He did. Why you don't believe him? Why? I'm not joking. I'm really asking a question. What makes him less believable than anyone in any book of the Bible?
Great suffering. They've become idolatrous and wicked. They've been taken into captivity. They've been torn apart. They've been slain. Many things have happened to the Lord's children when they've been disobedient.
Time to bring it in for a landing because you're talking Bible stuff again.
Here it comes in for a landing. When the children of Israel went into the promised land, they destroyed many, many peoples. And in many cases, they took the daughters captive. They just destroyed all the men, women, and children except the daughters who were virgins. All the boys were destroyed. All the men and women were destroyed. And the only thing they took captive were the virgin daughters. That was the children of Israel. In some cities, the Lord commanded them to destroy totally, completely.
So where was your promised land located?
Well, the whole earth is the promised land for all of us. When the Lord,
but for you?
when the Lord
whole earth is the promised land, gang.
Mighty glory and might. He's going to destroy all.
If you agree, make sure you like the video on TikTok.
Lift up the poor, the sick, and the afflicted.
The whole earth is the promised land.
Lift them up, and they will inherit the earth. This is according to the gospel and the scriptures and the teachings of the Lord.
Right.
Are you saying that because you are a prophet of God?
I never said I was a prophet of God.
I believe you did.
No, I didn't. I said I'm a servant of the Lord.
Because
Chill out, Isaiah, relax.
Emmanuel, relax. You're saying
manuals.
because you're a servant of the Lord that God provided you with a virgin to be your bride? Is that what you're saying? It's a yes or no question, man.
I didn't say that. You can draw your own conclusions. You said you were talking about how our family suffered and you couldn't understand.
Yo, bro,
You
it
couldn't
all
understand
boil
why.
you down, yo, bro. Sometimes, right? And when I ask the question, like, why we don't believe it now, right? I guess some of y'all don't believe that what we consider to be creeps existed at a certain point. Like, oh, you know, during those wild, crazy times that we learn about in history, wasn't no creeps. Wasn't no freaks out there at that point. All trustworthy men and women back in history and in biblical times. Right? Because we believe everything that is safe from those times. But why not now when he say that?
The family would have to suffer.
Emmanuel.
I'm saying that the Lord's children, they're
Emmanuel.
not suffering.
So can we draw that conclusion that because you're a servant of the Lord?
God owed you a virgin for a while?
Absolutely not. You're making your own conclusion.
I'm asking you if that's
He asked, why did her family have to suffer? And I'm telling
Okay, we're
you,
beyond that. Let me get on to another
And
thing.
I don't want nobody deciding that me or anybody that I love deserve to suffer because in the Bible it said that some other people had suffered.
Direct questions
Come on, bro.
that don't deserve an answer from theology. Okay. Did you take this girl out of her house at knife point? Yes or no?
I'm not going to answer that question.
And why not?
Why not? Answer the question, gang. Simple question.
I just want to know why you don't want to answer. It's a
You
yes or no question.
chance, you know.
Let me explain something to you, okay?
Okay?
You're not that far off, okay? We've been studying you now for a couple of weeks. You've been arrested for DUI and for some substance abuse way back in the 70s. You were arrested for burglary in San Diego last month and you gave a bad name. You were stopped by the Sandy police this afternoon and you and Wanda and Elizabeth all gave bad names, obviously in an attempt to evade the police. You were much more streetwise. You were much more streetwise than you were letting on to us now, okay?
And basically the cop is mentioning that is because, hey, if you was this Dr. Umar Emmanuel Isaiah, if you are who you say you are, then how come, if you standing on this in the name of the Lord, how come when you got arrested for this burglary out here, you told them something else? Why you ain't telling them you was burglarizing, whatever you was burglarizing in the name of the Lord? Why you ain't tell them that the reason you was breaking in them people's crib to steal lace stuff was because the Lord said that you had rights to? Why not? I know what he is. A lot of y'all feel like y'all know what he is. But I know what it is. And a lot of y'all don't know what it is.
You have been around more.
I'm not letting on to anything else but what I am.
I think what you're doing here is you're thinking that you're going to lay some kind of insanity defense.
I'm not
That's
absolutely
yo,
not.
hey, that's what he's doing.
So you are saying?
I'm saying to you that I am who I say I am.
That's what he's doing.
Isaiah, the servant of the Lord.
Without
Brian
question,
David
that's what he's
Mitchell.
doing.
I am the servant of the Lord, and my name is Emmanuel David Isaiah.
Well, guess what? We're servants of the Lord too, only in a different track.
Here's the deal. Do you know what you're under arrest here for? You were under
Son,
arrest for
son just wanna
aggravated
get to him.
kidnapping because the girl told us that you took her against her will out of her house at knife point. You were under arrest for aggravated sexual assault on a minor. Both of these charges carry life imprisonment. You can be David Isaiah Emmanuel in prison for the rest of your life, and it's very likely. This is your opportunity now to tell us what happened and why you did
tell
what
them straight
you
up.
did. And instead, you keep sending us off on tangents that have nothing to do with the matters and the questions at hand. You are very likely to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, that might not be important to you as a servant of the Lord, and you may think it's nothing, but let me tell you, you will never see Wanda again. You will never see Elizabeth again. You will never get out of prison.
You're talking about.
I'm talking about your future, Isaiah. I'm talking about your future here and now.
Would you please understand that God had power to deliver me?
Do you understand that you don't have
He's
an
saying
insanity
God
defense
gonna break him
because you
out.
obviously lied to conceal your
He's saying
identity
God gonna
from
break
the
him out of
police?
jail.
It mattereth not what you're saying and how good you think this case is against me. It mattereth not. God hath power to deliver me out of the hands of all of my enemies.
Well,
God will
Your
deliver
enemies.
him out of the hands of his enemies, gang.
The Lord said to Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
He's talking Bible stuff again. I never even read it. I pretended like I did when I was in grade school, but I wasn't. I was reading comic books.
You said you were serving the Lord too. You were
Yeah.
serving the Lord too.
And he
That's
wanna
right.
I
look.
can only answer you according to the words of the Lord.
And he not really, so he want to insult his whole idea. That's why he said that. That's why he went through that. Yeah, I ain't religious. I ain't read the Bible. I pretended like I was reading it when I was in grade school, but I was really reading comic books. That cop want to let him know, bro, I don't care. You ain't going to use this to get away with this or nothing. I don't even want to dance with you with that. I'm pretty sure that cop wanted to all out Guantanamo Bay him. Yeah, he wanted to
What's wrong with
Guantanamo
you?
Bay that boy.
What's wrong with
I
you?
promise you.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
And I want him too.
Lord.
Well,
He
let's
said to
listen to
Peter,
it.
"Get thee behind me, Satan." Now, what was Satan at that? Was Peter at that moment his enemy? Because we're all subject to deception. We're all subject to follow the wrong spirit and to follow our own.
Bring it from Landon, man. You're talking in circles. You're talking this biblical stuff. It makes no sense to anyone sitting in this room in the 21st century.
Emmanuel.
It doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
Sure.
And that's why great destructions are prophesied upon the whole face of the
Emmanuel.
earth.
Emmanuel.
What's your name?
My name is Gordon.
Gordon?
I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm a Lutheran.
Okay.
I've read the Bible.
Right?
I've studied the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with prophets of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with the great prophets. Elijah. I'm unaware of any prophet that lied to conceal their identity.
Abraham. I'm not going to get into that.
I'm unaware of any prophet that took a girl out of her own house at knife point.
I don't know what prophet took a girl out of her house on night.
Chapter
Was
with
At night
was
point.
Joshua a prophet?
Yes, he was.
Okay, then why did the children of Israel in the command of God go into the promised land and destroy many cities, and in some cases take the daughters?
If I recall my Old Testament, the Lord actually commanded them to destroy everybody.
There were
Leave only the livestock. Is that not true?
No. In some instances, the daughters were preserved, those who were
In
virgins.
what cities? I'm unaware of that. The Lord commanded them to go into Canaan and wipe everybody out.
Yes, but there were instances where they took the daughters and sometimes the
And
animals.
I'm asking what instance?
You know what?
You said
Where's
you know
this
your Old
documented?
Testament. You
Why
say
are
you
you-
know your Old Testament, so where is
Where?
it?
It's in there. You find it. It's in there.
So
Yo.
you don't know.
It's in there.
So maybe you haven't studied the Bible as much as you said you have, eh? So maybe this is all just bullshit, huh? Maybe this is all just about
You know-
maybe this is all just about David Mitchell trying to get a young virgin for
Do you
himself.
know what? None of those who Christ called to be apostles were learned men.
Yo,
They
some
were
things is
fishermen.
powerful. Some things is powerful. Some words are powerful. Even if you think something is the truth, giving the truth to somebody at the wrong time. I don't want to say that. I don't like talking about the truth like that. Giving somebody what you deem to be the truth but can't prove can be nasty. What if it was an age on when you can go into church, like a bar or like a club? Like when your parents couldn't teach you their beliefs. They picked up their beliefs when they was 21. They said, hey, I want to go see what this is about, but not to put it into a young child's head, right? or beat it into them, as we know that people do. Just force it. Because you can easily warp someone's mind. And his mind is definitely warped. And he definitely avert. But I think it's a nasty combination here.
Kidnappers either. None of them rape little children.
None of them were ordered to take a girl against her will out of the house.
None of them threatened to kill a little 9-year-old girl if she made any noise or
whatever. You know, I don't hate you, and he doesn't hate you either. But we're going to go to the judge and ask for considerations on your bail, because you got to realize that your life, as you have known it, is over.
I don't expect you to be delivered.
I don't expect that you're going to get out of custody until the day you die. Okay? Your future depends upon this interview right here, right now. You're not taking it serious.
Do you remember that Peter was in prison and an angel came and the guard and opened the prison door and let him out?
Isaiah, no angel's going to let you out of this room, man. There's nobody coming for you.
You know what? God will deliver me.
Was Elizabeth the first kid you ever had sex with?
The Lord God will deliver me.
Was Elizabeth the first child you
Yeah,
ever had
ask
sex
him.
with?
Get to those questions. Hey, man.
You see,
Because
Isaiah,
look, son trying to appeal to, look, the detective that's like a Christian is trying to appeal to his godly sensibilities, right? Because that's one thing that humans do, right? Because I've heard people say, hey, that they think that religion makes the world better because if people are afraid of hell or being punished for their sins, that they do better things. But I don't believe that humans respond to parlay discipline or parlay suffering, right? Like, just because you live in a state where they got capital punishment, that don't take down the amount of things that people do that will get them capital punishment. You could say right now, hey, forget if you unalive somebody. If you even shoot somebody, automatic 20 years. Y'all think it's going to stop people from getting shot? If it's a hell, people been going to hell forever, as long as they knew about hell. In fact, I would venture to say, since people start talking about hell, hell been packed like a fire nightclub. That wasn't heat.
You tell me, good. Peanut butter jelly, good. Peanut butter jelly. There she go, the lady of my dreams.
I've been doing some studying and talking to your ex-wife, Debbie. She says that you had some sort of sexual relationships.
She's lying, absolutely lying.
Now
Sure
look,
she's lying?
She's absolutely
now look. There's also the stuff come out. Cause when I was watching Elizabeth Smart talk on Dan Becker's show, she was like, "Yo," and then he should have never been able to kidnap. He was in a relationship. He had some stepdaughters. He did stuff wild to his stepdaughters. He had a track record of being just like the people in the Bible. He had a track record of being like a low down, despicable biblical character. Just maneuvering around, talking about he doing stuff in the name of the Lord. And he still was allowed to snatch this little girl. You can't make it up.
lying.
What would motivate her to lie about you? What would do that?
Because she's very disturbed.
See, he gonna say
There was
she disturbed.
Absolutely nothing like that ever took place.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, absolutely sure.
Well,
And I'm not saying that people don't lie, because they do. But you want for when people lie on you, what you want is for when people lie on you to not have a track record of it.
She says that you're just not really quite your standard person. She says there's things that are wrong with you. Okay?
Yeah, and Christ was considered that there was much wrong with him.
You're not Christ.
No, but I'm his servant. And all of his apostles and his prophets, from the beginning of time, Enoch was called a wild.
And you see how the other officer keep leaning back while saying, he's like, she said that there's something wrong with you. And then he like, well, didn't they say that about Christ? And then he like, but you're not Christ. Son don't even want to talk about the Bible thing. Because son keeps spinning it on him. And look, the more the Christian officer talk to him, the more I'll be able to say, hey, yo, why is he disagreeing with him? Because he not saying that Christ wasn't operating like that. He's saying, but you're not him. Hey, I'm doing the same thing as somebody else. Yeah, but you're not him. Wait, but ain't I supposed to walk in his shoes? Ain't I supposed to be like him? Shouldn't I strive to be more eccentric? Shouldn't I strive to go against the grain in the way that Christ did?